Okay, I'm fairly determined to try to make a video of rolling out a lefse. And now that I think I have a setup that might do that, I'm going to just try. I've made my batter or potatoes and added the cream, butter, and salt the night before and refrigerated it. In the morning, or whenever you're going to roll them out, you add the flour gradually. And the recipe calls for a certain amount, but you have to just remember Agnes. She just did it by feel, and measurements were not necessary. And sometimes what they recommend in the recipe is just going to be too much flour. And other times it may not be enough because the potatoes vary in their moisture content, and even the weather can affect it. So I will talk a little more about rolling that out, but this is ready to go and the grill is ready to go. From the previous one, I've wiped it off with a dry cloth because the excess flour burns, and then you have sort of burned flour on there. This tool is wonderful. It has a flat edge and a little more curved edge. The flat edge goes down and you lift it not quite in half and place it on the griddle so that you can roll it full out. Now I always start rolling the next one, but you have to keep an eye on that. This is not as important as that, and you have to play with the temperature a bit. 500 has always been too hot for me, even though some say that. When you heat the griddle, I'd say heat it about 475. Flick a little bit of water on, a little drops of water. If they roll across it, it's ready. Now, I have rolled one edge so thin that that's burning a little bit, but that's okay. You slide it under when you see those sides getting brown, and this one got a little dark. That's always nice because the cook can taste it later. But this can also be cut off for serving to people. It's browning pretty fast now. I'm going to turn this down, and when you turn down or turn up your temperature gauge on this griddle, a small discrepancy makes a big difference. So don't go whipping it way down or way up, because it takes a while to catch up with that, and then suddenly it's too cool or too hot. So just do it by minuscule amounts. I use quite a lot of flour when I roll these out. This particular batch I put in a half a cup less flour than a typical recipe would call for, and sometimes I sprinkle a little on the top, or I have some excess on the outer edge that I can roll my pin in. You need to get the grooved rolling pin, as far as I'm concerned. That's part of the definition to me of lefse. It's got the grooves, which I think add a texture compared to like a flat pastry crust for a pie or something. Again, wipe off your griddle, burned flour, use the flat side down, go under it about 1/3 space, and unroll it on your griddle. Keep an eye on it and start your next one. I always add some more flour in the middle. Usually, my mom taught me this just by me watching her. She manipulated the dough a bit. I don't care if they're perfect circles. I kind of like them random, but I had one that looked like Kissinger's profile just a bit ago. But they taste the same. I'm keeping an eye on this, and being that I burned the last one slightly, I'm going to take this one off now. It's very nice. The middle of the actual griddle is less hot than a ring around it, so sometimes I off-center where I place this when I flip it, just to get that middle part a little more evenly cooked. If your griddle is too cool, your lefse will be crispy. It'll be like hardtack instead of a nice soft drapeable thing. I can see the brown through there. I'm going to flip it over here, and it's perfect. I don't know if that shows, but it's perfect. Wipe off what you can of the burned flour, and later when I really am done doing it, I can use a very wet SOS pad and clean that griddle, but be careful not to scratch it too much. So if you get too thin and they buckle up like this, then just learn that for the next time. I shake it a little bit because sometimes some excess flour will fall off then. There we go. I'm on my last one. I had rolled my balls ahead of time and put them on wax paper. One batch makes about 15, the size I make them. So I make 2 batches. Today I got 31 balls, I think, that I prepared. And then you don't have to. I think my mom used to just roll each one as she did it, but it's so much nicer to prepare them ahead of time. I also keep my flour handy, but I put a bit in a bowl that's separate because I'm digging in here all the time and I don't want to keep digging in the big bin. So hallelujah, again on the last one. Again, this is getting close, so I don't need to worry about this. This will be here, but I don't want to overcook this one. I flipped the one that was previous over onto the done pile. If it sticks in that little spot there, just go over and yank it. Darn it, I'm rolling the edges a little thin. This is a process of trial and error, and everybody eats it no matter what. And of course, like I said, if you burn a little section of it or whatever, then you get to taste it. Sometimes big air bubbles form, and I know Bonnie always pops them, but I don't really see a point. Here you can really see the burned flour there. Because this side got so brown, I could probably be done with that one. But give it another second. It looked a little light. It's creative cooking. Decide as you go. On my last one, again, I like my corner counter because I can kind of walk around and create the circle. I try to put the heavy weight sort of in the middle and lighten up as I get toward the edge, because that edge, like I said, if it's too thin, a tendency to burn before the rest of it does. And you just get the feel for how thick it is just before you stop. So that's it. I'm going to watch that one, and I'm going to tell you that music helps, and a fan. Let me see, can I get in here? Hi. I didn't plug a fan in, but I did open the window because it's hard work and I always get too hot. So there you go. Happy Lefse Making. You can do it.